The second Mega Evolution has debuted in the latest Digimon anime Ghost game during its 58th episode, and it's time to talk about it and break it down. So let's review both episode 58 and 57 since that episode premiered on Christmas and I took a bit of a break. Not a full break, mind you. Did you know that on my second channel, TheDigiKnow 02, there are 2 new videos for you to watch after this? One is Karn EX, Base Digimon, and myself ranking the new Ghost game evolutions, including Angoramon's Mega, and the other is a lo-fi playlist for studying or working. It's all the background music I use in my videos during 2022 collected in one place. Hope everyone had a great holiday and a happy new year. Now let's get back to talking Digimon. First up is 57. The video is timestamped if you want to hear my thoughts on 58 first. Episode 57, Ghost Taxi. Hiro, Gamamon, and Kotaro go to see a Christmas play at a church, but on the way home, Kotaro and Gamamon are taken away by the black cab and disappear. This week we have Lilithmon, an evil goddess who tricks folks with beauty and rewards them with death. I really like how Lilithmon looks in Ghost Game. They didn't redesign her per se, but the show's art style allows them to put more emotion and personality in her face. She reminds me more of like a goth girl, e-girl than any previous Lilithmon appearance, also kind of giving me a Raven from DC Teen Titans. She's incredibly formidable too. She's a Mega and it shows in the battle in the final act of the episode. Tiny bit of a Christmas episode with us starting with Hiro and Kotaro walking home from a Christmas party, but it kind of ends there. 57 premiered on December 24th, so it's cool to see the Christmas element, as I always like when Ghost Game successfully matches with our real world in terms of seasons and holidays. We didn't need like a Santa Claus Digimon or Reindeermon or anything like that, at least not in my opinion. Lilithmon overheard Kotaro calling the girls performing in the play angels and demands he takes her and Cerberusmon to the angels. Gamamon ends up in the car too. It's like a double hostage situation. Sitting ominously in the back seat of the cab, Lilithmon gives Gamamon a poisonous dose of something to try and compel Kotaro to cooperate and to do so fast. We see Kotaro kind of wrestling with the fact that Gamamon is supposed to be a hologram but is clearly in pain, like those two things don't connect. Still not aware he's a Digimon, but saying things like hang in there hologram. But at the end of the episode there isn't a moment where Kotaro realizes Gamamon's true nature or anything like that. He's still in the dark about everything basically. That kind of disappointed me. Now this next scene is pretty important. As Gamamon is in deep degrees of pain, we get an incredibly brief flash of Gamamon's jet black eyes, which have always been a precursor to Ghoulish Gamamon's arrival, like thunder before a storm. But nothing comes out of this. Still, a certain character inside the cab notices the jet black eyes and comments on it later, and we'll come back to that when we get to that scene. Lemurmon and Tedismon fight Cerberusmon in its bipedal werewolf form, while Ginryumon goes to fetch Bakumon, hoping that this somewhat holy Digimon can cure Gamma and Kotaro's poison curse. As they're doing battle, Lilithmon comments, "I personally find the way the One sent Digimon here from the digital world without any rhyme or reason to be quite vexing, but it has nothing to do with me." Of course, last week we had Kazuhamon saying, "If this was all calculated by the one who sent us to this world, ... So this is something. I'm glad we got story acknowledgement 2 weeks in a row, making it very hard to ignore the lines, "the one who sent us." Now the question is, who is that? Again, Hiro's dad, Ghoulish himself, a dark Digimon leader we haven't even met yet. Bakumon arrives, and as a holy Digimon, Lilithmon sees it as her job to destroy him. Thankfully, Gamamon is back in action and cured, so he evolves to Mega. She doesn't lose the fight, but the action pauses after Siriusmon successfully lands a hit and breaks a bit of her crown headpiece thing. She's taking a liking to him and wants him as an ally in the angel hunting. Then she reveals she can open gates to and from the digital world and go freely where she pleases, placing her in a league of her own compared to the other threats we've faced and even other Megas we've met thus far. Okay, well, not a league of her own, I guess a league of two technically. Remember, Black Tailmon Uver, the Black Gatomon, also appears to be able to open portals in this series. This makes things complicated. Is it that we now know one good Digimon and one bad Digimon that can open portals? But can we even call Black Tailmon good, considering how little we know about it? Either way, we now know it's a super rare ability, but not exclusive. Before retreating, Lilithmon looks at Siriusmon one last time and says she hasn't given up on him and that perhaps he'll consider her offer to form an allegiance. Siriusmon says he would never, and she says, "Perhaps you won't, but I wonder how the other one would feel," suggesting she caught onto that scene earlier where Gamamon's jet black eyes appeared. In other words, she seems interested in joining forces with Ghoulish Gamamon, which spells trouble for everyone. In the end, Hiro reflects, quote, "It's no coincidence that Digimon are here in the human world. Someone is controlling the gates and sending Digimon here." And that's 57. Not a world changer, but it was great to see 2 episodes with some level of story and consequence 2 weeks back to back. Maybe it's just that Ghost Game has starved us for story and now we have such low standards, but it is kind of funny that we can consider mentioning the one 2 weeks in a row as Ghost Game giving us lots of story. But when you're hungry, you'll eat anything. If I had it my way, I would have liked if this was our chance for Kotaro to learn about Gamamon's true nature and finally understand that the holograms his doormates have and the monsters that have been attacking him on a near weekly basis are both creatures called Digimon. I don't even like this kid that much, but for his own well-being, it's time he got some answers. Overall, a good episode with a cool premise in the Ghost Taxi, a commanding and powerful villain, a light Christmas theme that didn't overdo it, and a promising tease for the One and for digital world portal travel possibilities. these. It left us asking new questions, which is always good in my mind. Of course, let me know what you thought about this one. Who do you think the one is? What did you think about Lilithmon's debut? About Kotaro's being left in the dark? So that's 57. Next up is 58, but before that, there's a friend of the channel who wants to say hello, the sponsor of this video, SkillShare. You might know SkillShare for classes in photography, film, video editing, illustration, but did you know SkillShare has hundreds of career-focused classes too? The new year is the perfect time to reinvent your goals and yourself. Their online learning community is a great place to get inspired, learn new skills, and put them to work in impactful ways, all from home. No goal is too small. The future can be intimidating, but SkillShare's short, broken-up lessons take the pressure off. Whether the goal is increased productivity, building a personal brand style, SkillShare's teachers will take you through it step by step. As for me, my goal when joining SkillShare was to become a better video editor and visual storyteller, and so their classes on social media marketing, storytelling 101, search engine optimization, they're all dreams come true for me. SkillShare has a special offer too. The first 1,000 people to click the link in this video's description will get a 1-month free trial of SkillShare. When you sign up, let me know what classes you're taking and what goals you've got for 2023. Thanks SkillShare. Now back to the video. Kaoru, a friend from the piano class Ruli once attended, has gone missing. While searching for her, Ruli and the gang find a strange dent and her shoes. And as they continue to search, Hiro is suddenly asked a mysterious riddle. So Ruli is back behind the piano this week. It's the first time we've seen her embrace the instrument in a meaningful way since her early days in the show. Remember around episode 3 when she enchanted Angoramon and he would listen to her play in his invisible form before she even knew who or what he was? It was cool for this mega debut to have that component of her character back. There are bizarre block indents all around town and missing belongings like shoes and pants. Hiro is turned into one of these blocks and is off the board for this week's episode. Same goes for Kiyoshiro. So from the 8-minute point onward, this episode is truly just Ruli and the Digimon. We get a good look at our villain of the week, AncientSphinxmon, and Mummymon warns us that to AncientSphinxmon, our lives are nothing but pebbles on the side of the road. Definitely discouraging and intimidating as far as power levels and things of that nature are concerned. As we saw in the preview, he's truly building a pyramid in the middle of urban Japan. Apparently, AncientSphinxmon wants to summon, quote, the undisputed ruler and creator of the ancient digital world civilization, Pharaohmon, which causes Mummymon to totally lose his cool, which we haven't quite seen from this character, and it helps to sell the threat level. Angoramon's Lamortmon form battles AncientSphinxmon with support from Gamma and Jelly, who can't digivolve without their partners. Mummymon and Espimon help out too, which is nice to see how large our roster of support characters has grown, not to mention the fact that this whole time really is flying on Airdramon. As AncientSphinxmon threatens to override modern-day human culture in favor of the ancient past, Lamortmon recalls everything it's grown to love about modern life, traveling to enjoy culture, amusement parks, flower viewings, weddings, and of course we're getting flashbacks to all these moments throughout the series. Ruli says she still hasn't found her perfect hobby, so there's still more to do and explore culturally. Then Lamortmon vows once again to defend her, and we get our mega transformation. Just like Seriousmon's debut, this evolution animation is really strong, with Ruli riding her ultimate into battle before hopping off to let the transformation take place. Diarbitmon is this cool looking military general with dual blades. The version we were presented in the anime isn't that much different from the card art we got a few weeks back, so that did take the wind out of my sails just a bit. It's kind of my fault though. I wasn't blown away because I had seen a pretty accurate depiction of this mega in the card game already, but in action and execution, I think this mega was everything fans could have hoped for. Very much a knight in shining armor for Ruli, a prince to save the day, this very gentlemanly warrior who has a struggle with AncientSphinxmon, and when he defeats the enemy and throws it into this portal that is basically a gate to the digital underworld created by the villain's own making, he doesn't even celebrate his victory. Instead, he kind of feels bad for his opponent. He reverts to rookie just as everyone across town reverts to normal and the pyramid downtown disappears. That's really where the episode ends. So that is our Angoramon debut episode. I would say this, I got everything I wanted from the form when it was in action, but I'm kind of haunted by the untapped potential of Lamortmon as a violent berserker protector. By that I mean we had seen hints of this Digimon coming close to crossing the line on multiple occasions, Lamortmon being an absolute monster that Ruli was even kind of scared of and taking things too far, like the enemy would already be down and it was still pummeling it. Lamortmon's transformation to Mega this week didn't really acknowledge or play into any of that. There was no scene like in episode 24 of Digimon Adventure 2020 where Tai got hurt and Metal Greymon lost its mind going into this red-eyed berserker form before eventually being pulled back to the light side and giving us the War Greymon aura. This Angoramon situation is so much like the Ghoulish Gabumon situation where we all thought it would be necessary to conquer this inner demon and resolve the Ghoulish persona before Gabumon could unlock Ultimate, but then he just did it and achieved Mega after that, all while the Ghoulish persona was never acknowledged or resolved. So that's my only criticism, which isn't really a criticism of this episode, but rather the overall format / formula of Ghost Game, which we've already discussed a million times on this channel. But yeah, animation wise, emotions wise, and in this episode I was quite happy with what we saw from Angoramon's long-awaited Mega, and it looks like we won't have to wait long for Jellymon's. With only a 2-week gap between Hito and Ruli's Megas, Kyoshiro's is probably right around the corner. Next week, in fact, is looking like a Kyo and Jellymon focused episode, so it could even be next week that we get a Mega, and then episode 60 onwards is a bit of a finale victory lap arc where we wrap everything up in Ghost Game. So that's what I'm thinking, but of course, let me know your thoughts on everything. Angoramon's Mega, the Lilithmon episode from Christmas Day, when Jellymon's Mega is coming, and how far from the end of the series we are now. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out the Skillshare 1-month free deal in my video description. Go to the second channel after this to hear Karn, Based, and myself debate Digivolutions, and to listen to the Beats to Study To playlist. Again, all that music is copyright free, so if you're a creator and you find a song you like, go ahead and use it. Thanks, have a great week, and see you in the next video.